Welcome to the Positive Spiritual Living Podcast, brought to you by Unity on the Bay. This is your positive path for spiritual living.
Well, there's a lot to do today. Just take a big deep breath and reach down and unbuckle that safety belt. Do the opposite of buckle in, just unbuckle it, and to be open at the top, and to begin to think about then all we've already heard this morning. So turn to somebody and tell them, if I were you, I would change. If I were you. Now, if you go home and start doing this with your families, it may not go all that well. So guess who gets to change? Me. Guess where all the change in the world that we want to see is possible? Me. This is good news. You. So now turn back to somebody and say, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. So now let's get a little practice. In your mission statement, your vision statement this morning said, you are here, Unity on the Bay, to be a catalyst for spiritual awakening. Okay, stand up. Now change your seat. Sit somewhere different. Have the ushers ready in case anybody dies over this. Okay. Now have a seat. Go back to your seat. Your seat. The one seat in the whole world that's yours. Now, what was that like? Did it feel good? Was it a little scary? Very, very scary? Was it? How dare you? You ain't the boss of me. I knew she's nothing but a tormentor. I don't know why they all like her. So we're going to have to get a little practice, right? Because one day there's going to be a new seat. One day there may be somebody by me that I have never met. Ooh. One day there may be somebody by me that doesn't think like I think. One day there may be somebody by me that disagrees with my righteous way. That's AKA the right way. So where's it going to leave us if we stay stuck in this or stagnant in this? If we absolutely don't step into this calling to be this catalyst for spiritual awakening? Because then as these winds blow and this question mark about where we're going to be and how's it going to look and what direction's it going to be in, and it better be west. And I guess west is a better way from here, right? Because east would be on a boat. So it better be, I want it to be, it better be, I want it to be. Then what will be the consequences on you if you believe any of that? Pain, stuckness, frustration, irritation. So what's another option? To change. What else? What's another option? To be open, curious, wait and see. Uncommonly motivated to bear the question mark. More uncommonly motivated, resilient to bear this time of uncertainty, of not knowing. And grounded in what is true, absolutely true, which is whatever it's going to be is greater than anything we've seen. Good where we've been, great where we're going to. Good where we've been, great where we're going to. Because it's the law. It's the nature of things. And then we'll naturally have our humanness in it. I want this, I need that, I think we should, we shouldn't. And no problem there. That's a very creative force. Unless this takes over. And we start to take things personally. And after all I've done around here. So be real cautious of it, because this is your agreements. This 4 agreements. Are you into these 4 agreements? They're a spiritual path. It's a spiritual direction. It's also a path to liberation, a path to freedom, to live from be impeccable with my word. To be impeccable with my word. Now let's get a little real about it. Ring, ring. Hello? Have you heard? You should have seen the way she looked at me. After all I've done for her. Ever since I've known her, that's how she's been. Yes, tell everybody you know. Yeah. Okay, see you at church. Okay, bye-bye. Be impeccable. So what happened to your heart? What happened to your own heart just hearing that? What happened? This is what we're dealing with. So there's a reason not to do this to yourself. There's a reason not to do this to yourself. And then when you stop hurting yourself, you'll stop hurting others. When I stop hurting myself, I stop hurting others. And you've heard this, hurt people hurt people. So this is no little thing to be doing the agreements and to be taking on these agreements as an embodiment of these. And then to make no assumptions. To make no assumptions. So then when she gives you the tone or he gives you the look, not to make up something about what that's about. I have not walked in their shoes. I have not had their experience. I have no idea what's going on there. I will not make any assumptions about that human being for my own sake. I cannot do that. I cannot make assumptions about people and displace my own unquestioned thoughts and beliefs, my own anger, my own anything out there on somebody coherently. And then, so not to take things personally. Is there anybody here that can do that? I'm just so eager to meet you because we're going to plan your ascension. Because if we have a pulse, if I have a pulse, we're going to take some things personally, right? Even though we don't want to, even though it's hurtful, we're wired for this. Like this mind, this lead us not into the temptation of being affronted. Deliver me from that. Deliver me to another choice that I can make when that arises that is not so reactive, but is responsive instead. So then when I get hurt, afraid, they don't include me, they don't invite me, they disinvite me, they make fun of my wardrobe, then there's nothing personal going on here. So that nature of us, the nature of our human beingness, then to have a hurt feeling that becomes chronic. A chronic state of taking things personally versus, no, that's an old way. That's an old, archaic, worn out way. And there's another way for me, which is to see what comes, to accept what comes. I don't have to love what comes, by the way, or even like it. I certainly don't condone it. And I can respond to whatever comes differently if I don't interpret it and make up something and then displace what I just made up about it onto the thing. And then the last agreement is to do my best. To do my best. And then when I get upset or I take something personally, to stop shaming myself over that, to stop saying I can't do it. Like, oh, it's the 4th time I've read that book. Where's the hope in that? It's like, well, as long as we've got a pulse, we've got some work to do. That's a clue. If we woke up this morning, there's something unfinished. So we can go about it then more deliberate, more willing even, and being the change. Where can I change? How can I change the way I see this? How can I change the way I'm going to relate to this? So get a sense of that and get a sense of being that. Several of us went over to see Abraham Hicks yesterday. If you went, raise your hand. These are people you can ask about what it was like for them. If you've studied that, it's all about the law of attraction. And some of the takeaways in that were particularly powerful for me. And I want to read a few of them here for you. And it is that stop arguing for your pain. That when the heart and the mind are aligned, then I'm guided by an inner guidance system, a GPS system, a God position system. I'm going to make different choices. So my first step then is to plug in. To plug in. So pause, presence, then proceed. In that order. To keep a long and ongoing list of things you're grateful for, you're engraced by. Counting your blessings. Every tradition has taught us this. To focus on what we have. And the more I am grateful for what I have, the more I have to be grateful for. If we're going to be under the influence of something, it ain't going to be this. So I'm going to be under the influence of the higher consciousness, under the influence of the GPS, under the influence of divine creation. So the first step then is to plug in. And the analogy was, imagine you're going to vacuum your house and you get the vacuum out and work with the vacuum and you didn't plug it in. Well, that's what we're like, running around like a bunch of fools without plugging in. So it's not effective. We're not getting the results we want, that we want to have, results that we're dreaming for, claiming for. So plug in first. So check out the work. See what would be meaningful to you in that way. And then I want you to think about, in the context of stopping taking things personally, of when that happens in you, when it happens in me, what's the effects of that on you? How does it feel when you take things personally? Pain, stress, worry, frustration, doubt, confusion. It doesn't sound like much of a life, does it? So I'd like you to close your eyes a minute. And maybe put your hand right in your heart center. This is from the practice of heart math. Take a deep breath or two. Present yourself. And in the same situation where you would have taken it personally, or you have taken it personally with a certain somebody, or the person that's just a general irritant. Think about them a minute. But think about them from this place. Now, what effect do they have on you when you're in this place? What effect do they have on you when you're presenced like this? So just a second or two of practice and practice and practice and practice. Jason, will you show the video? This is a little 2-minute clip that is the possibilities of, as we practice this, as we stop taking things personally, as we keep our heart center open, as we presence ourselves in liquid gold. It's referred to this liquid gold of the coherent heart, and that it's then a heart living, then it's possible for our workplaces to be transformed, spiritual communities to be transformed, and then eventually global transformation.
Scientific evidence provides support for a global field environment that connects all living systems and consciousness. Many scientists believe that a feedback loop exists between all humans and the Earth's energetic systems. We are working together with other initiatives to realize the increased effectiveness of collective intention and cooperation. There are growing numbers of organizations with tools and techniques that facilitate increased heart connection and collaboration with others. This evolves into a collective opening of the heart, which is a major step towards increasing social and global coherence. We call this heart-based living. IHM, through its Global Coherence Initiative project, is strategically placing 14 sensors around the world to measure the Earth's magnetic resonance. This global network will enable our scientific inquiry into the interconnections between the Earth's magnetic field and collective human emotions and behaviors. Science has shown that the Earth's magnetic field affects humans in profound ways, but our intention is to study how humans, as a collective, affect the Earth's magnetic field environment. Every individual's energy contributes to the global field environment, and each person's thoughts, emotions, and intentions affects the field. A first step in increasing the coherence of the field environment is for each individual to take responsibility for their own energy. We can do this by becoming more conscious of the thoughts, feelings, and attitudes that we are feeding the field each day. Our hypothesis is that as enough individuals increase their heart coherence, it leads to increased social coherence. As a critical mass of cultures and nations become more harmoniously aligned, this can eventually lead to increased global coherence and sustainable peace. Doc Childre, the founder of HeartMath, puts it this way: as more of humanity practices heart-based living, it will qualify the rite of passage into the next level of consciousness. Using our heart's intuitive guidance will become common sense based on practical intelligence.
You ready for a rite of passage? A rite of passage, and that I'm not waiting anymore. You don't have to wait anymore for this rite of passage, that it is here today. Today, the day you've waited for, the day you believed was possible for all of your days is today. And then through this practice of this, then I embody it, then it's made possible. Then let there be peace on earth, and let it begin. Let it begin with me. And the old way is, let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with him. As soon as he apologizes, I'll think about it. And as soon as they invite me, I'll include them in my heart. Pain or peace. And it's really coherency. And then through building this coherency, then we're naturally resilient, naturally uncommonly motivated to see something through. We then, as a collective, as a community, have problem-solving skills, cognition. We operate from the innovative, highly innovative, creative parts of our brains that's seldom ever accessed when we're taking something personally. That we continue to act like animals. Fight, flight, or freeze. or we access the part of us that is our divine birthright, which is that to be able to think and to direct that thinking towards something that interests us and towards something we want to be a part of creating. And then basic unity. What we saw in the heart math is our basic unity teachings. Thought creates. The experience I'm having is my responsibility. So if I want a different experience, I've got to look at what I've called it and what framework I'm looking through. And herein lies all the power in the universe. In you, in me. The power within ourselves. So, big deep breath. Begin imagining now that when you leave here today that you have had a born again experience and that you are free of some of this and that you're intentional in how you're going to proceed. That you have changed, I have changed, and that this change is not a theory or an idea, but something that has occurred in our being, in our mind, body, soul, and spirit here today. And I absolutely lift you up in that. And Godspeed to you as you continue to practice. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock in that room right down that hall right there is Empowered Living. So I'll be in there practicing myself and inviting you to come so that we can take some of this more concretely into practical ways of how to be this in the world, in a world full of knuckleheads. In a world where there's big winds blowing, how I can be in those winds and still be stable and stable-minded and more centered. So join me there. And then out there on that wall are photographs I've taken in my travels. That's an exhibit of them right from my little camera phone, from my little phone. So I encourage you to soak them up. It is out there to remind you of what you love, where you love, and why you love. So I'd love you to take some pause with that today and hang around. If there's any way I can support you after this service, you're welcome to it. And anytime, MarthaCreek.com. I am here to serve those who serve. I naturally believe it's you. And we are the ones, we are the called ones. And if anybody else could do it, they'd be in these seats. So it's us, and the time is now. And I know that you know. Much love to you, and Godspeed as you fulfill it.
Wow. How amazing was that message? Who feels filled right now? It's amazing. You know, not so many people know this, but I'm missing a finger. No, I don't get a discount off manicures or anything. I should, though. I should ask the next time. And when I was a kid, I used to get bullied for it. So, you know, my mom would tell me, the next time you get bullied, you tell them, I may be missing a finger, but I'm powerful, and you are ugly inside and out. You shouldn't be telling people that they're ugly. But, Martha, thank you so much for reminding me of that. Thank you for reminding me of how powerful we truly are. Thank you so much. So it is now time for our prosperity opportunity. We're so blessed to be spiritually fed in this community by music and, of course, a message. And if you want to be in the flow of not only receiving but giving, now is your opportunity to give back to this incredible community. We have giving envelopes in front of you, and if you want to go green, you could please text UOTB to 73256, UOTB 73256. We'll put that up on the screen for you. Giving is a sacred demonstration of your prosperity, so I'll give you a few moments in silence to prepare your gift. We thank you for your gift at this time. Let's bless these gifts together. We could put them to our hearts. I know how to start it, but divine love that I am blesses all that I give and all that I receive.
How many of you know that what God has for you?
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Positive Spiritual Living Podcast, brought to you by Unity on the Bay, a spiritual community located in Miami, Florida. Unity on the Bay is supported by the generosity of its community. If you'd like to make a donation or learn more about Unity on the Bay, please visit unityonthebay.org. You can also follow Unity on the Bay on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for even more positive spiritual inspiration. Until next time, thanks for listening and many blessings. Namaste.